Morning world. Yes, autumn is well and truly here now in the UK. The leaves are falling with gay abandon, the wind's blowing, the temperatures have dropped remarkably, and it has been absolutely pouring down solid for the last 36 hours. We didn't manage to get out yesterday. We got out for about half an hour in the morning, that was it. Molly had to cross her legs till the evening when I could just take her out for a quick wee. Then she wouldn't get out of bed this morning, so we're very late to be getting out this morning. But yes, but we woke up this morning, it's mild. It has forecast more rain later on and the wind's picking up, but at the moment it's quite mild. So we've made the effort to get out and have a chat with you lot. So we definitely are coming into the wintry months now. Winter clothes are coming out, but not in some parts of the world. Some of my subscribers in Australia and New Zealand are talking about spring going into summer. It's a funny old world, isn't it? It's upside down or downside up, depending on which way you look at it. So we're out this morning, the beautiful countryside, walking between the hay bales wrapped in plastic. Molly's quite agile, she's running, but right behind me now. She usually wanders off, but she's right behind me today, stuck to my heels. We're in a little area where the field rolls down between lines of trees, and it's great because it kind of rolls like a roller coaster into the distance, into the trees in the distance, and we're just coming underneath some trees now to join a footpath that between two avenues or a avenue of trees. It's quite muddy underfoot here, and I think that's what it's going to be like today. We're going to have a muddy old day, but we don't care because we're out in the countryside. I'm happy, Molly's happy. Let's hope as many people as possible can be as happy as us. There doesn't seem to be many people about. I can see one person in the distance walking along with the dog, but they're going in the same direction as us, so that's absolutely fine. Now I wanted to talk about something today. It's something I've not thought about much because it doesn't affect me, but it has come up, not in conversation with me, but it's come up, I've just heard it on the media, or I've read it somewhere, and that's SAD, S-A-D, Seasonal Affective Disorder. And it's something we don't think about unless it affects us. And it doesn't affect me, but I know it affects a lot of people. And I know very little about it. So I just wanted to talk about it today because I find that if I talk about things, if I open my gob and make a noise out of my mouth, it kind of goes in a bit more than if I just think about it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Seasonal Affective Disorder. And if it affects you, any of you out there, then you have my sympathies. Now it appears to manifest itself in tiredness, moodiness, lack of concentration, difficulty in making decisions, aches and pains, headaches, and many more symptoms, and even down to suicidal thoughts. And it is actually, it's not just something, it is actually an illness that can be treated by certain drugs. So if you feel you are going down this road, go and see a doctor ASAP, because it can be helped a little. And like I say, there's people out there who will know a lot more about this than me. I've only done a little bit of research, a brief little bit of research. I think it can be treated with light therapy and antidepressants, and I think it's caused by the lower levels of serotonin and melatonin, which is obvious when we're out in winter months. Now, I've been lucky. I've worked outside all my life, so I've always been able to take advantage of every moment of sunlight and daylight. I've probably gone to work in the morning and I've been working when the sun's come up, but then I've worked all day in the sun, or in the light at least, and then gone home in the dark. But some people get up in the dark, travel to work in the dark, work in an office or a factory or whatever in the dark, and then come home in the dark. So you can understand that even that environment, without any medical or physical or physiological effects, can cause depression, or at least a drop in your mood, a drop in your well-being. So that, alongside drops in serotonin and melatonin that will affect susceptible people, you can imagine. I mean, some people must absolutely dread the winter months, which is awful because there's so much beauty around us in autumn, fall and winter and early spring. Some people must absolutely dread it, which is awful. I don't know how much the antidepressants or the light therapy or whatever other treatments you can get, there'll be some boffins out there who'll be able to tell me how much that does actually affect it. Does it negate the symptoms? Does it lower the symptoms? Does it lower the symptoms noticeably? Does it do much? Is it a placebo? I don't know. So it would be nice to find out, because when you walk out, not only in the countryside, but in life in general, we are in our own little bubble, aren't we? We've got our own little problems. As luck would have it, I'm kind of person, I'm so optimistic that things will bother me, things will happen, but I can kind of pretty much put them aside in my mind for the right time. I can think, well, I will deal with that such and such a time, and I can drive it out of my mind, so I can be pretty much okay walking about most of the time. But you walk about and you come across people coming in the other direction. Out here it'll be with a dog, on a bike, on a horse, walking with the family, pushing a pram, whatever. We don't know what's going through their minds, do we? We don't know what's going through anybody's mind around us. You could be walking around now with not a care in our minds, coming into contact with people who are conflicted in their heads in all sorts of ways. And it seems that this time of year, and you can understand it, this time of year, there is going to be more, because in the summer months it lifts your spirit. A warm day, a lovely little breeze, a zephyr blowing through your hair or across your bald head, it uplifts you. But naturally at this time of year, especially in a climate like ours here in the UK, and especially a climate like ours up here in the north of the UK, it's dull and grey. There is still beauty all around, but it's a tragic beauty. Now, I've always been a great proponent for getting out in the countryside and just getting out in the fresh air to help your physical health and your mental health. I think it's got it all. The countryside, wherever you are in the world, has got it all. It's just, it cannot do you harm unless you get bitten by a snake in Australia or something like that. But it can only do good. I mean, I wouldn't be half as good looking as I am if I didn't spend so much time out in the countryside. You've got to agree with that, haven't you? I'm not here to tell you how to combat it at all. I have not a clue. I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. I'm just out here to big up nature and to say that even though I may not have much knowledge of a medical condition, I'm just here to say whatever is wrong with you, being out in nature cannot be negative. It's got the whole positives. It's great. It's a great help. It can never be a placebo. So get out in nature, use up some of that pent up energy, free your spirit. My surgery is always open. My advice is not to be followed. Thank you very much. And we are going to carry on, because it looks like it might be dry for a while. So all have a good day, and we shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.